All right. Hello, everybody. Before we start, I don't know if I'm gonna have like a behind the scenes thing before every episode, but before anybody asks, number one, yes, I just got out of the shower, and number two, I am also filming this a little bit after the first episode was filmed, so my energy is still quite low, but hopefully my takes will be of high quality, or at least that's what I'd like to think. Anyway, welcome to episode two of Noah's Thought Bubbles. Um, I guess if you haven't been here for the first episode or the kind of intro video, just as a quick rundown, I have like a long list of things that I really want to talk about that I'm passionate about, and so I'm gonna randomly pull a number out of this IKEA bag that I have here that hopefully I can find a better system for it. I don't know if I'll like randomly roll a dice or something for it next time, but basically it's a long list of ideas that I want to talk about, and so I'm gonna pull one at random. So without further ado, let's just get straight to it. Uh, Sorry if it's loud, by the way. I don't want to edit, and I'm lazy, and I'm quite tired, and this is the only day I can record. So please allow me. Uh, we are going to pull one. I think this is just one. Nope, it's stuck because I put it with post-its. I'm an idiot. Anyway, we have our little slip of paper here, and we're gonna open it. So sticky. Number 18. Okay, I'm pulling this up on my iPad. I have like all my thoughts and ideas on here. So let's go to number 18. Handling finances. Okay, this should be a fun one. I think based on like the little note that I have for it, because I usually forget about what the idea is and I only want to kind of have one at a time. So basically the main idea was I think I'm in a really, really privileged spot, especially being an engineer. I think a lot of the allure of doing engineering or being in the profession is kind of the money you get that comes with it. For sure, that's a big thing. I think it's not the driving force of why I want to do engineering, because for me, a lot of the satisfaction in my job comes from actually solving problems and being able to kind of work through complex puzzles, whether it's figuring out how I want to design like something, whether it's like a building or like even if it's like something simple, like being able to solve something and complete it kind of like scratches this weird itch in my brain. I don't know if it's because I'm like special or something, but it might be. I don't know, but it kind of like scratches an itch in my brain to be able to do it. Anyway, that's not really the topic, but basically, I think I'm in a really, really privileged spot, even though I had to work really hard for it. Engineering school is not the easiest, and a lot of people burn out or change majors or whatever. But I was able to stick through it, and with the help of some really, really amazing people. But I think a lot of the benefit of being an engineer is kind of being privileged to be in a spot where like you have enough money to learn, and then also what comes after if you're able to get a job, of course. And I'm one of those really lucky few where I was able to get an internship really early and then transition it straight into a career, which has been really, really great. But I think for me, I have had a lot of worries about money, if that makes sense. I live in Hawaii, so the housing is not the cheapest, and while I'm splitting kind of the cost for it, it's still not really cheap. And so on one hand, I think like my big dilemma for me is like I'm still only 22, and like there's a lot of things that like I still have to take care of, especially now that I'm kind of living in the real world, if that makes sense. I know it's like a really like old head unk thing to say, right? Like welcome to the real world, buddy. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of things like such as like taxes, because tax day was today actually. Really got lucky with that. I got someone to help me file, but um things like that where it's taxes or bills or groceries, because growing up it's kind of just your parents pay for it or help you pay for it, and then you kind of don't have to worry about it anymore. But now it's you know whatever you have in your account is what you have, and you have to use it wisely. And so for me it's always hard because I feel always that I have a dilemma of when I want to buy something like out of impulse. Recently, I think one of the ones that I had was League of Legends has a card set coming out, or kind of a TCG that they came out with I think middle of last year, called Riftbound, and some of the cards look really cool and I saw it and I wanted to buy it. But then on the same point, I think always of all the bills that exist, obviously paying off my student loans, all these like small things, and like even something like my retirement fund, because I've opened the Roth and stuff like that. And sometimes I think I psych myself out too much and I just want to save and don't want to spend too much or have fun with doing certain things or kind of splashing on specific purchases. Sometimes I can kind of reason my way into it, if that makes sense. So one of the ones that I'm trying to reason my way into is getting a new iPad. My iPad's a few years old, but especially now when I'm working at my job, it does help to have something on site, maybe like a tablet. I know our company has a couple of iPads that you can take out, but having one yourself kind of makes sense. And also, it'd be nice to use to watch shows, etc. But for purchasing reasons, I'm gonna say that it's work only. Um, but something like that, I have to reason myself into being okay. Can I budget for this? Can I do this? And sometimes I just don't want to like think. I just want to be able to just buy it because I have the funds for it, and I know I do, and I'm really lucky to have those funds. And I don't know. I think it's so hard. Just like you go from even in college still to a certain degree of you get a lot of money from parents or gifts or stuff like that, and you don't really have to worry about bills, or you do have to worry about bills eventually, but when you move out of campus housing, right? Or when you go to yeah, basically when you move out of the campus housing and suddenly now you have to pay your electric bill, there's an internet bill, there's a water bill, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so much that I think I don't know about it. And I had a talk with one of my managers and he like spit all this knowledge of like, yeah, you need to know this percent and like know what stock you should buy and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it tweaked me sorry, I don't want to swear, but it tweaked me out. It tweaked me out really bad because I was just sitting there and I'm just hearing like all these percentages and numbers and like stocks that I want to invest in, and I'm like, I just want Pokemon card. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. It's always a balance for sure. I think being able to understand how much money you can budget for and are able to spend on things that are leisurely. So, for example, certain people's numbers are gonna vary, right? So even if it's something small like a pack of gum or maybe like a candy bar or a snack, it can be something like that, or even up to like something that I would probably want to have really, really bad, which would be like a new iPad or something like that. Like understanding how much you have to spare for sure, and then kind of being aware of how much you have to spend and then putting all of that into the right places, because on one hand, I don't want to tell people, or I don't want to be like, just buy whatever you want whenever you want, because it's reckless and don't do that. But also at the same time, I feel like money that you earn from your job is meant to be spent how you see fit. And even if it's like something pretty expensive, going on a trip, for example, like can be quite expensive, but at the end of the day, if you have the funds to do it and you find it reasonable, and let's just say a bunch of your friends are going to go, I would say it's worth it, especially because you can make a lot of memories and it's a lot of fun. And that stuff is not really tangible in terms of monetary value. Like, what's the cost of a really, really fun time with your friends? So I think, I guess, just as like a kind of wrap up statement, I don't know if I'm going to have like a wrap up statement, but it kind of just ties everything in a bow for me. Figuring out money's hard. Um, I don't think there's a one size fits all for everybody. And so, especially if you do have the ability or funds and you want to do something, like, don't be as afraid to do it. As at least that's what I'm trying to tell myself, is to not be as afraid to spend money on things that I really enjoy, whether it be, something like Pokemon cards or trading cards in general, or even something that I like to do, which is like bowling or something like that. Because bowling is getting real expensive. Why is it like $50 for an hour? Like, let me just roll ball down lane. But just do it if you have the funds and are like do with it what you want. I think is the main thing, and don't just be so quick to kind of follow the path that everyone wants you to, which is just take all your money and invest it and throw it into all these percentages and stocks and whatever, whatever. Like, have fun, man. Live your life. Do what you want with your money. But anyway, I'm gonna close this also by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I'm an engineer. Do not take financial advice from me, please. But it is financial advice. Do what you want with your money. Anyway, that's kind of it for episode 2. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully, uh, I will have more energy the next time. I don't know if it's like a good or bad thing, but I am going to take a long nap. I'm taking a fat nap today. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. See y'all later.